What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneau Show. Sorry about that. Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneau Show. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always, on all podcast platforms everywhere, BrandonJaneau Show. Of course, like always, man. Um, on YouTube channel, BrandonJaneau Show, and all social media platforms, particularly like Instagram and TikTok, BrandonJaneau Show. Also, I'm on Threads, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what that is. I have no clue what the fuck that is. But I'm on that too, I guess. I gotta go and really do it, I guess. Promote, like, do the bio and all that shit. Yes. Good God. What the fuck is the world coming to? Anyway, I'm on that too, I guess. So go follow me on there too, as Brand New Show as well. Let's get into it, man. This is Wrestling Life. Uh, and on this episode, man, I want to talk about the aftermath of SummerSlam, last night's Raw, preview of SmackDown, all of that shit. And but I want to get into it like this, man. I want to say it like this. So I've been watching a lot of people's, since Saturday night episode, since Saturday night SummerSlam. I've seen a lot of people, particularly talk about the Bloodline storyline because that was the main event. That was the last thing we seen. That is the most important storyline in WWE. So I saw that. I saw that. A lot of people on TikTok, and I've seen some people on YouTube, and I've seen so many wrestling podcasters get a take on it. And the one thing I've been hearing more and more is every time I look somewhere is the fact that a lot of people are like, this storyline is stupid. This storyline is dumb. This storyline doesn't make any sense. This storyline. And I'm kind of like, I get why you would say this storyline is stupid, but I'm also kind of like, you are the same people that's probably like, Drew McIntyre should have beat Roman. You probably was the same people that was like, well, Kevin Owens slash Sami Zayn should beat Roman. Now I agree with you on this. If you are one of these people, Cody Rhodes should have beat Roman. Now, I am totally with that statement, and I thought Cody should be the one to beat Roman Reigns. I didn't give a fuck. I will die on that hill. I know a lot of people that will die on that hill with me that Cody Rhodes should have beat Roman at WrestleMania 39. It was pretty fucking obvious, but they have decided to continue to push this storyline out, and now people are saying now that, but you are probably the same people that's always said Jey Uso should be the one that beats Roman for fucking. And I've always felt like, why the fuck would Jey beat Roman? I've never understood that I like that decision making of WWE. If Jey was to beat Roman, what the fuck do you do if Jey beats Roman? What does he do as a champion? And here's the thing, I'm not one of these guys gonna be like, he was a tag team wrestler. He's a tag team wrestler. He can't handle his own, but when he's by himself, that's not what that is. I just think Jay just isn't there yet. I don't think Jay is a main event, every fucking main event kind of guy. The worst thing you could do with the title is have it be this long, this long in a title reign, and just because the storyline you like needs to be kaput now, you're just gonna give it to some second rate person. And I'm not saying to say Jay is a second rate person, but compared to the people that could actually beat Roman for the title, Cody fucking Rhodes, there's a difference between a Cody Rhodes and a Jay Uso. We can easily see it. There is a difference. Now, I've seen people say that Jimmy betraying Jay Saturday, it is the stupidest decision. This storyline is done and it doesn't make any sense. And I said Saturday night, I said this isn't about Jimmy and Jay. I know that's what people are going to play the narrative as, but look at what they're really doing. They're foreshadowing what's really going to happen, and that is that Roman and Solo are going to come to a head eventually. Solo is now starting to become his own man. That is the one thing about Solo. What was the thing Cody Rhodes told Solo? You're not ready. What did he tell him? Why did he tell him that? Because he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to be the guy. He wasn't ready to take over. He wasn't that guy. As this storyline is starting to progress, you're starting to see Solo kind of look at Roman a little differently. Like, yo, I am ready, motherfucker. I am ready. I am ready. And you're starting to see it. And again, we're getting lost up in this doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck would Jimmy betray Jay? Because they're gonna go off and do their own shit. Now, here's the thing: if Roman is really hurt, which a lot of people saying he is, if Roman is hurt, I can see Jimmy getting back into the Bloodline storyline, but Jimmy is not the right hand man, and that is where I think the storyline kind of gets interesting because this is why I've been seeing certain people post it and say this is why this is happening, and this is why this. They've been telling you, they've been foreshadowing it. The foreshadowing is starting to happen, but it's not with Jimmy and Jay. It is the foreshadowing of what Solo's gonna do to Roman eventually. He's gonna be the one that betrays Roman next. I know people don't understand. Like I know people that's like probably that because he's gonna be Roman for the first time showed what was more important: tribal chief, not the title. But to be a tribal chief, you had to be the champion at the beginning, which made no sense. Cause like think about it, like, and a lot of people might not understand that because you probably didn't watch the storyline at the beginning like I did, which you say you did, but let's be real, you probably fucking didn't. You just watched the fill-in shit. You watched some of the Jay Uso early beginning shit, and then you kind of like faded off and was like, okay, Jay's now part of the bloodline. That makes sense. Okay, cool. But like, go back and watch the fucking beginning. Roman said to be the tribal chief, you had to be champion. He said, as long as I got this title, I am the tribal chief. So I don't know why the fuck this narrative has changed since then. It's like now the tribal chief is more important than being the fucking champion, which is the dumbest shit on the planet. I don't understand how the fuck the tribal chief shit has actually superseded the title, which makes no sense. Like, like I said, go back and watch all the old promos in the 2020s. Like, go watch them in the early pandemic after like the first time they started like right after Night of Champions, and they started really becoming the conversation of you gotta be tribal chief. And the only way you could be tribal chief is if you become the WWE Universal Champion. I need this title to be tribal chief. He never said I care more about the tribal chief shit over this. He linked the title with being tribal chief. That's why this reign has been so dominant because the title has always been synonymous with being tribal chief. So if Jay was to beat Roman, that's why they put the tribal chief also on the line because the title is synonymous with the fucking tribal chief. That is why that shit made sense. But this is what I think people are not understanding. When Roman loses the title, he's still going to be tribal chief, right? And that's where it gets to the point where I think Solo's more important in the storyline right now. Me and Jay are gonna do their own shit, which is kind of obvious. But Solo's the most important part of this storyline. More importantly, Solo and Paul Heyman, because if Roman is hurt, who do you think Solo's gonna be around for most of those times? Who do you think Paul Heyman is now grooming to be the next tribal chief? He needs to get Solo back under control. That's the one thing he's got to do. If he can get Solo back under control, which seems like that is the thing it's starting to become, because something that, again, like I said earlier, something that Cody Rhodes told Solo, and which Roman kind of agreed to, was that he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And now it seems like Solo's starting to say, I am ready. But put does Paul Heyman make his decision with Solo? Because the longer this goes, how long does Paul Heyman say, I'm starting to see Roman crack a little bit? I'm starting to see Roman kind of get paranoid a little bit. I need to probably find my next meal ticket. And he's going to be grooming Solo. Because, like I said, at WrestleMania 40, if this is the truth, and this is how it's going to go, Cody and Roman are going to fight again at WrestleMania 40. If that is the case, Solo needs to betray Roman. Now, this is where the storyline could get fucked up. If you keep that title on Roman longer than it need to be on Roman, that title cannot be on Roman past WrestleMania 40. It can't, because then that's when you really will lose interest in the story. Because then Cody Rhodes, what the fuck is the point of the finishing the story narrative? You can't have Cody and Roman fight at another WrestleMania, but then it doesn't culminate with Cody winning the fucking title. Then you can go into the next phase of the story with Bloodline, which is who's the tribal chief now, because you lost your title, Roman. So what that means is now the tribal chief conversation is up for grabs, which now puts Jimmy and Jay storyline end with Solo and Roman. Because if Solo does cost Roman the title at WrestleMania, which I think he will, then like these posters I'm seeing on social media right now, where it's tribal combat, right? And they're talking about like it's a fatal four way. That only happens if Roman loses the title, because that's really what this is all centered around now. It's centered around tribal chief. It's not centered around the title. Pay attention to this shit. It's centered around being the tribal chief. It's not centered around being the universal champion. When it started, it was synonymous with each other. Being the tribal chief, you had to be the champion. But you saw when Roman put the title on the line, he's like, "Shit, you want to fight me for the title? Shit, I don't care. But let's do it." But when he said, "No, this is tribal combat now," and Roman realized what he meant by that, and he had to take the layoff and put it on the title, that's when he realized, "Oh shit, this is a little different than I thought." And that's where this is all headed. It's not heading to Roman keeping the title past a certain date. Because let's be real, when is the last time you've heard WWE really talk about his fucking record breaking year? You don't hear the days anymore. Like pay attention. The only time you heard the days is when he's physically there. But like but you always hear him talk about tribal chief. You don't hear him talk about how many days he's now surpassed and shit. You heard it Saturday, but that's about it because he was in the fucking match. But pay attention to this. The storyline is really centered around being tribal chief. It's never been centered. I don't know where the fuck it changed, what it changed, but it changed. It changed from being the title synonymous with the tribal chief. Now it's just like Roman just has a title. Nobody gives a shit. But tribal chief is the main thing. You can still be the tribal chief once you lose the title. And I think that's why I feel like a lot of people not understanding the story. Jimmy and Jay is one thing. They're gonna rival, they're gonna beef, they're gonna have their moment and cool, whatever. But the story is going to break off. Jimmy and Jay are gonna go and do their own shit. But it's gonna always, and then Roman and Solo are gonna be tied together until Solo decides to betray Roman because he wants to be his own man because he is ready and he's gonna break off and he might do it at WrestleMania 40. And if they break off at WrestleMania 40, at Backlash, that's where you will have the Fatal Four Way because then Jimmy and Jay will make sense to put into back into that storyline where it is now Tribal Combat, a Fatal Four Way where Solo, Roman, Jimmy, and Jay will fight over who's the Tribal Chief. Or you could do it and wait to SummerSlam, next year's SummerSlam, and do a Tribal Chief, a Tribal Combat with a Fatal Four Way where all four dudes fight over the fucking Tribal Chief. And maybe you bring back, and then maybe you bring in a family member. You bring in a new family member to try to help Roman or maybe help Solo. Depends on who you really. Because I don't think Jimmy and Jay is tribal chief. Neither one of those dudes are gonna win the tribal chief. They're never gonna be tribal chief. But Solo can. Roman can keep it. But that's the main thing. I think it's a very interesting thing. I think people that are still saying this storyline is stupid and this doesn't make any sense because you don't get the picture. The picture is not about Jimmy and Jay because that's what the fuck they wrapped up at SummerSlam. Jay and Jimmy's involvement in this storyline. Now I know people are gonna be like, "Well, Jay, right? Jimmy's gonna, pretty much rejoin the Bloodline." And your point is, he's not gonna be the right hand man. Roman's gonna tell Jimmy to deal with his brother, while Solo handles the rest of the shit, the real shit he needs done. He's gonna go back to that. Solo's not a right hand man. Jimmy is not. Jimmy is gonna be told to handle his brother. That's all the fuck he's gonna be told to do. That's it. This storyline, they wrapped up the storyline with the Usos being a part of the bloodline for right now. For right now, because like I said, at some point, Backlash to SummerSlam next year, when Roman loses the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, then the conversation switches to Tribal Chief, which the Bloodline storyline will still have some umph in it. Because are you really interested in Roman still being champion? Or are you really interested in Roman being the tribal chief and having his family situation going down? Because that's really what the Bloodline storyline is now really boiling down to. It's not about being the champion. It's about being tribal chief, and that is what they want. They want tribal chief to be the main focus while they make a plan to get the title off of Roman. How do you do that? Easily. You put him in a match at WrestleMania 40. You let Cody beat him, but you let Solo stab him in the back. And that is the only way because Roman's not going to betray Solo. That's the well. in a sense of betraying him is making him feel like he doesn't matter to him. But Solo's pretty damn smart, so Solo knows I've seen what you're doing to my brothers. I'm not gonna let you do that to me, and that is where Solo's going to use whatever. And by the way, Solo's gonna be the last person in the Royal Rumble with Cody Rhodes, and Solo's gonna have a chance to eliminate him, and he might actually do it. I think Solo wins the Royal Rumble. But I think Roman is not gonna fight. He's gonna tell Solo to either to fight whoever the fuck is the World Heavyweight Champion, and Solo's gonna probably give up the title match, or probably say, Solo's gonna somehow, some way, Solo is going to win the Royal Rumble. I know people say it's gonna be LA Knight. It might be Cody again. It might be Gunther, but it's gonna be Solo. And I think this is why I said it, because then he's gonna put a title match on the line against Cody Rhodes to prove that he's ready, and Roman is gonna agree to it. Roman's gonna tell Solo, "I think you are ready. Go out there and show Cody he can't beat you." And that is when Cody's going to beat Solo, take the Royal Rumble match, take the title, take the Royal Rumble winner mantle, because Cody can't win the Royal Rumble twice in a row, like 2 straight years. That's a little bit pushing it. That's a little bit like, what the fuck? But you can do it. But here's the thing: you can actually pull it off, because what is the next pay-per-view before that? Elimination Chamber. You can pull it off. You can have Solo fight Cody in the main event at Elimination Chamber, and have Cody beat Solo. And that is how you get the rematch between Roman and Cody at WrestleMania 40, because Roman cannot win, because Cody cannot win a Royal Rumble 2 straight years. That's got to go to somebody. And I think it's Solo. And I think Solo wins the Royal Rumble, but I think Roman talks him into putting his fucking Royal Rumble win on the line. And I think he has a Batista effect, where Roman's selling Paul Heyman like, you really think, like Paul Heyman tells Roman, like, you really think Solo's ready to be a champion? And Roman's like, fuck no, I don't think he could beat fucking Cody. I know he can't beat Cody, but if he at least softens him up for me at WrestleMania 40, that works for me. And Roman goes out there and tries to help Solo, and Cody beats him. And then that means Cody gets the WrestleMania matchup against Roman again. And then, by the way, the Elimination Chamber match will be for the World Heavyweight Championship, so it doesn't matter. So I think that is how you do it. I think if you're WWE and you're smart enough to do it, if I'm WWE, this is how I do it. That is how I do it. I have Solo win the Royal Rumble, but I haven't put the title, the prize of being the Royal Rumble winner up against Cody, because Cody cannot win the Royal Rumble 2 straight years in a row. You can't. Because now you're really just playing favorites. What you should do is give the crown to Solo, and have Solo beat, and have Solo lose to Cody at Elimination Chamber, and then have an Elimination Chamber match for World Heavyweight Championship. Like, have Solo say, or have Roman say, I want Solo is gonna fight me at the Raw at WrestleMania, because he knows he could manipulate Solo at WrestleMania to lose the match to him. And that's when Cody comes out and says, "Hey, no, I want to fight Solo, because technically he didn't eliminate me. You helped him eliminate me." Like some Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin shit. Like The Rock came out to help Vince throw Stone Cold out the ring. That's what he should do. That's what the fuck they should do. WWE, I just gave you an easy ass storyline. This is such a lob of lobs. Like, don't fuck this up. Like, I just gave y'all a storyline. That was the easiest storyline. Just go down that road. Solo wins the Royal Rumble. He throws out Cody with the help of Roman, and then and then have Cody and Solo fight at Elimination Chamber. You will have an Elimination Chamber match to see who's the World Heavyweight Champion, or at least the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. If Damian Priest still has the briefcase by that time, or if he cashed it in, you're gonna need somebody to fight the World Heavyweight Champion. Either you have an Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship, or you just have a straight up Elimination Chamber match for the number one contender at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Champion. It's easy ways you can find a way around the World Heavyweight Championship match. Either you have a new World Heavyweight Champion, and that, but Solo has to win the Royal Rumble, and he has to fight Cody at Elimination Chamber. That is how this shit's supposed to play out. And Cody beats Solo, but that's the final nail in the coffin for Solo and Roman because he forced him to put his match, or Solo agreed to it, but Roman then started warming up to the idea like I don't think Solo could actually beat Cody, but I do think he could soften him up for me, and I think that's what he got to do. I think that this is such a it's an easy thing to solve, but it's so how do you get there point is the tricky one. Everybody's talking about the Jay and Jimmy shit. It doesn't fucking matter to me because that shit was kind of obvious. It was coming to an end. The Usos were gonna break up at some point. That's kind of obvious. But for everybody that's like, I can't believe they did this. This is stupid. It don't make no sense. It makes all the sense. It makes all the sense. The only reason why you mad is because you think Jay should have won. And don't sit up there and say, no, I didn't think Jay was gonna win. Bullshit. You motherfuckers have literally said for the last 2 fucking years, Jay should be the one that dethrones Roman, and now it's kind of over. You thought that is done. That is dead and buried, and now you are like mad at that. But whatever, man. Raw was last night, and like I said, Raw was last night. Sorry about that. Raw was last night, and Raw was pretty decent. It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, Raw was pretty good last night. Um, One thing I learned is that the women's tag team titles are fucking cursed. Them bitches are cursed, bro. Ever since Sasha and Naomi left the motherfucking company, they can't find one steady women's tag team titles holders. They even fucking girls drop it like flies, man. They might as well just like fuck it. They might as well get rid of them titles, man. They might as well get rid of them. Like there's not enough women tag teams to go around. And on top of that, you need more women to actually fight Rhea and Io. You need more women to fight them too. Stop trying to make mismatched tag teams. That shit just doesn't make sense. You barely have two standard women tag teams on the fucking roster, let alone that. Maybe Trish and Zoe. You got the girls that came up from NXT. But by the way, we haven't seen the NXT women tag teams champions since they lost to Shayna and Ronda. What the fuck they been? They lost and have not been seen. And maybe that's because Vince was heavy in control because we literally watched last night's Raw. You can see there's a difference between a Vince show and a Triple H show. How you know that? Because there's more people that Triple H actually do respect and deem can help the brand over Vince just going to the names that he fucking likes. You can see it. Like you can see it last night. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae is back. What the fuck they been for the last month? It's like this is the thing about that. But anyway, the damn women's tag team titles are fucking cursed. Oh my god, them bitches are cursed. Excuse me. Speedy recovery to Sonya Deville, man. I hope she comes back. She won't be back until probably next year, SummerSlam time, maybe. Like a torn ACL, that's a year. It takes a fucking year to like really a year, maybe and a half, depending on how your body will readjust to the surgery. So man, also you got to train and all that shit. Oh my god, it might take a year and a half to get her back to a ring like that. So yeah, those titles are fucking cursed. Holy shit, those titles are cursed. Um, but yeah, I don't know what they do with the women's tag team titles. I don't know what you do with the bitches. I think you just should just like annex them, get them bitches out of the solar system. Them motherfuckers are bad, man. Them bitches are cursed. Like, don't even try them out. What do I think is what did I think about Raw last night? New Day is back, which is huge. Of course, man. Pretty much Big E is retiring, pretty much because he's kind of like forced to retire. Doctors pretty much told him like, yo, it's not gonna be good if you wrestle ever again. So, man, I hate to say it, but happy retirement to Big E. Um, what do I think of New Day? Speaking of tag team titles, the fucking Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens is hurt, and Sami Zayn is now hurt. You saw that big ass elbow injury. A lot of people said this reminds me of John Cena. Yes, it's like a cyst on his elbow. Like John Cena had SummerSlam against Daniel Bryan. Like that's not some shit you saw it last night when he tried to come out there and try to help them. in the main event, you saw him trying to like use his arm, and he couldn't fucking do it. He had to put his arm behind his back and try to do all the moves. That's a bad problem. I mean, he's probably gonna have to go get it, taken out and all the stuff. But that means the tag team titles are now vacant because Kevin Owens is hurt and Sammy's now hurt. So that's two people that's already hurt, and they're the tag team champions. So now what do you do? Well, this is a perfect example of where now you can split up the titles. You can pretty much say, okay, SmackDown, you get your tag team titles back, and Raw, you get your tag team titles back, which is great for the rest of the fucking tag teams because you need that shit. You did not need. This was the only thing that was kind of stupid still. I didn't understand why these motherfuckers was still carrying around two sets of fucking titles. They're literally one team. Just give them one tag team titles. And maybe now WWE goes into the mindset of how about we just don't do the Raw? How about we just don't do Raw and SmackDown titles anymore? Maybe this is the time where Triple H and them create the tag team titles, which I've been saying they need to probably fucking do. You give people the WWE World Tag Team titles, and then maybe you give Raw what are they doing right now? The World Heavyweights. Well, Raw will have the World Heavyweight Tag Team titles, and then on SmackDown you have the WWE Tag Team Champions. That is great, and maybe you have the Undisputed Championship in the tag team, whatever the fuck case would be. But they need to switch up the titles. It is time now to finally say, well, we don't have any tag. Damn, excuse me. Now think about it, the tag team titles on like the women and the men are vacant. Like because Sammy's hurt, Kevin's hurt, Sonya's hurt, so the tag team titles are kind of done for right now. So if you're Raw, you have to maybe you do a tournament and then the tournament ends at Payback, which I think that's the smarter thing to do. You do a Raw and a SmackDown. You let Raw and SmackDown have their own tournaments of the tag teams. Street Profits win for SmackDown, and then New Day or Viking Raiders or Alpha Academy or somebody wins on Raw, and then you have that. So I think it's pretty damn interesting to see how this all plays out, which opens up the door for now the Creed brothers, who's been on NXT for a long time, and now a lot of people saying they're gonna move up. Well, guess what? This is the perfect time to do it. Get a new tag team in the conversation. This will work. So I think there's a lot of things they could do with the tag team titles for the men. Women, just get rid of the titles. They're done. Like do you have any women tag team standing? Like this shit is ridiculous. But yeah, um, I'm happy Shinsuke is gonna finally get a chance to really redeem himself as a main event talent, which is fucking rare. They haven't. Shinsuke and Finn, people could get mad. Now I was on record and said I wouldn't mind Finn winning the title at SummerSlam, but Finn not winning is more important to the storyline. Because if Finn wins the title, like I said, you're not gonna cash in. Damien's not gonna cash in Money in the Bank on Finn. That just doesn't make any sense, especially right now. What the fuck's the point of him cashing in on Money in the Bank? What you should do is bring in a JD McDonough, like I said, also a Nikki Cross, and you have those two be part of the Finn Balor's Judgment Day because you can tell you can see that Dominic and Rhea really fuck with Damien, not really Finn. You can see it, like you can actually tell it in this situation. Like look at it. You can see Rhea is more connected with Damien than she is with Finn, and Diamond's just gonna do whatever Rhea wants to do. So I think this is a pretty interesting thing. Seth versus Shinsuke is gonna be a great fucking rivalry. I hope it's not just a one-off. I hope they don't just fight at Payback. I hope it's an actual rivalry that rehabilitates Shinsuke. 'Cause people can say what they want to say about Finn, but it really does rehabilitate Finn Balor. The fact that he even had that type of rivalry with Seth. Yeah, he didn't win it, but it rehabilitated who Finn is as a single solo star. It rehabilitated him. And I hope this does for Shinsuke because they're gonna have some incredible fucking matches. Oh my god, they're gonna have some great fucking matches. Um, Gunther versus Chad Gable is gonna be great. I was there last Monday, um, when they were here in Houston for Monday Night Raw to watch them two fight. Man, was incredible. I got some clips that I haven't even posted yet of that match. That shit was incredible, man. I cannot wait for them to fight at I'm assuming at Payback. They're gonna probably fight at Payback now, which is awesome for me. I think you should hold it over to the main. I think you should hold it up to the pay per view. I don't think Drew Mac. Like I said when I did my SummerSlam review, I don't think Drew McIntyre should be the one to beat Gunther to take the title off of him. I think that Chad Gable needs it and would be way better if he wins it because it will be way better off. And plus, that's the workers man's title. If that's the workhorse title, you want it on a workhorse. As much as Drew is great, Drew has his moments where he don't show the fuck up. So why would you put the title on Drew? That doesn't make any sense. And plus, for the first time on Raw, you saw that was the mid card. You saw how many people that can actually be in the conversation of title holders. Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, Matt Riddle. Um, who else? Um, when he comes back, Johnny Gargano, which I think he would be back probably next week now, because since his wife is back, I think he'll be back next week. Johnny Gargano, you have a lot of people in the mid card. Shit, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Like, you got a lot of people in the conversation to be those guys. So I do think that is the thing. What do Shayna Baszler beat Zoe Stark? Shayna Baszler needs a reboot. I think Shayna now does Shayna calls Becky Lynch next week with the Trish match. Yeah, it could happen. I'm not gonna say it like it couldn't. I don't want it to. I think it kind of will be as backwards because Shayna is starting to now get cheered a little bit, and I think you actually want her to get cheered. I don't think you want to just throw her back into the heel conversation. That's kind of stupid. Why the fuck did she beat Ronda if that's all the fuck he was gonna do? Just put her back in the heel situation. I think you need to let Becky beat Trish. I think you need to let that happen. Becky needs to beat Trish. Put the shit to the bed. Put Trish and Zoe in a tag team together. Let them go off and do the women's tag team titles if that's what you want to do. But Shayna needs to have Becky as her next rival. That is the obvious decision. Now, I'm not saying she should cost her the match, but I do think Shayna should have some sense of play in that match. That's what I do believe. What I think is gonna happen on Friday? Uh, Santos Escobar needs to be Austin Theory. Austin Theory is not the U.S. They need to get that title off Austin Theory, and they need to rebrand him. Me personally, I would send Austin Theory ass back to NXT. There's a lot of good things he could do in NXT. I think he got called up too fast in the beginning. He could go back to NXT and he could be a easy rival for Carmelo Hayes. That would be the obvious fucking decision. You can put Austin Theory back in NXT, make him go against Carmelo Hayes. That would be an easy top 10 NXT rivalry. Because Austin Theory just needs a rebrand. He needs a complete and utter rebrand. And if he goes back to NXT, he will still be on TV. He can work on his promos. He can still work on things. But then he will actually have a worthy competitor that actually makes sense to be on his level. Austin Theory has been in these very rivalries, these big fucking rivalries, and he has not matched up to him. There's a reason for that. Because he ain't ready. Like John Cena said, you're not ready, dude. You're just not ready to be the guy. If you were WWE, if I was Triple H, and I know Vince is gonna be on the shelf for a good bit, I would send Austin Theory ass back to NXT. I would have him lose the title to Santos Escobar, fight one more time at Payback. He loses, he goes back to NXT. You rebrand him that way, and have him be Carmelo Hayes' next real true threat as the next NXT champion. And maybe because I'm starting to see it now, where it seems like Trick Williams is going to want to break off from Carmelo Hayes. What if he costs Carmelo Hayes the title and give it to Austin Theory? And then Austin Theory could have his kind of like his Mandy Rose rebrand in NXT because that's what the fuck he needs. He needs a rebrand. And do I think he needs to be? Do I think he needs to be in a position where he needs to hold the title forever? No, but I do think that he has a chance to rebrand into something that he can actually use. And on top of that, you can create a faction for him in NXT. Think of all of unused talent in NXT that they could actually use for him. I think it'll be a great idea if he goes to NXT and rebrands that way because he needs the Mandy Rose situation where he needs to go somewhere where he will be supervised, but also he needs to learn how to be the guy. He never learned how to be the guy. He went from the way to literally the U.S. champion. It made no fucking sense. I don't understand it. But I truly feel like this, man. If I was WWE, I would have Santos Escobar beat Austin Theory Friday. I would then have Austin Theory lose Escobar at Payback, and then I would have Austin Theory take a break, leave, and then go to NXT for at least October, from like November to next year. Like he should have his own NXT title run that would help him rebrand himself because that shit that he is doing now is terrible. I think Austin Theory should go back to NXT and become Melo Hayes' real rivalry. Like because Melo Hayes has not had a true rival yet that can challenge him with the youth, but also the ability in the ring. He hasn't had it yet. Now him and Dragunov at NXT Great American Bash, fucking incredible. But he needs somebody like Austin Theory that can give him a real WWE main roster rivalry. He hasn't had that yet, and I think Austin Theory would be the perfect person for him. What else happens with the Bloodline storyline? I don't fucking know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we start to see the deception between Solo and Roman more so than Jimmy and Jay. I don't give like I said, Jimmy and Jay are one thing, but like I said when I started this, Jimmy and Jay are one thing. Y'all more focused on what Jimmy and Jay are looking like, and I told y'all Saturday night, Jimmy and Jay are not the main focus of the storyline, even though that's what y'all think it is. How many times have we said Sami Zayn's the focus of the storyline, and Kevin Owens is the focus of the storyline, and Jay's not the storyline's focus? And no, the storyline's focus is Solo and Roman, because that is actually the person that Roman actually does believe that can take the tribal chief's mantle from him and can actually be the next provider for the family, which is another thing people don't talk about. Roman wants to be the tribal chief because he says, I am now the provider of the family. What the fuck you think Solo could be? So that's my take on everything going on in WWE, man. I will be doing a list of my favorite wrestlers so far 2023, and of course, I will be doing my last list of it. This list will be just compiled of WWE superstars, and then the year list will be, of course, everybody. But until then, I am Brandon Janeau. Peace.